Welcome to Cozy Coven Chats with Jenny C. Bell, where we explore the journey of the witch. Hi, and welcome to another Cozy Coven Chat. I am your hostess with the mostest, Jenny C. Bell. Actually, it's Elvira, but, we can all dream that we're Elvira. Beautiful, beautiful Elvira. This is for the week of March 29th, and we're also going into April, and we're going to be talking about the full moon. We're going to talk about the second chapter of my book, and let's start with our card. So our card, we're still using the Elemental North Tarot, is the Hanged One. And this card is really cool. It's a bunch of leaves, and one of the leaves has a chrysalis, and then the other leaf has a chrysalis with a butterfly emerging, which I think is a really cool take on the Hanged Man. So the Hanged One represents a change of perspective. We need to be open to new information to have proper understanding of the world around us. The butterfly is no longer a caterpillar, and it will never be a caterpillar again. That's the beautiful nature of growth. While in its chrysalis, a major transformation happens. When the butterfly emerges, it can fly, and its entire view of the world has changed. Another concept connected to the Hanged Man or Hanged One is time. Within the chrysalis, the caterpillar is in a stasis and solitude, digesting new information and reprogramming itself for what is to come. And then there's also a learning curve. The butterfly still needs to dry out its wings. This time is often spent still suspended at the chrysalis or somewhere safe. I got to see one time, we used to go to the Cabrillo Aquarium in Southern California, and just it's just such a cool aquarium. But there was, they had monarch chrysalis on different plants, and we saw one emerge. We just happened to be there, just no one else around. And it was beautiful. It's truly beautiful. The runes are and says is connected to the spoken word, guidance, and teaching. Someone or something has pushed the beginning of this transformation. And then Bjork, B-E-O-R-K, Bjork, not to be confused with Bjork, signifies birth and creation, which is in turn can be linked to the creative process. So yeah, the Hanged One, it's, flipped your world upside down and you're seeing things differently. Whenever this card comes to me, it's telling me that I need to change my viewpoint in some way. It might mean talking to somebody about whatever's on my mind, depending on the question I'm asking. It might be going somewhere new just to change perspective. It might be actually climbing a mountain and going to see the top. It might be doing some upside down things in yoga, right? Doing some down dogs and whatever. But it's change. And it's a good change, and it's perspective shifts, and it's creativity, and it's slow. So the chariot's really fast change. The tower is dramatic change. The Hanged One is more let me flip around and think about this for a long time, but in a different way. So something this week is going to ask you to kind of change perspective, and you have to decide what that is. So April 1st, April Fool's Day, we have the full moon in Libra, which I love a full moon in Libra. It's just such a Venus beauty. Let me light a candle. Let me make things pretty. Just feel good kind of a sign. And it's all about balance. So this moon is about balance meeting expansion. Full moons are about expansion and release and power. So we're balancing and deciding how we're expanding if we want to expand. So this, I think, is directly linked to whatever you're manifesting or looking for or towards for the new year, the energetic new year, the equinox. So think about if you manifested at that time, how can you expand on that this month? Or in April, this moon. And then we're getting closer to Beltane energy, and you can continue to expand on that. Beltane's all about fertility. So it's you're being, with the hanged person, the Hanged One, that's all about seeking balance and seeking a change and expanding your viewpoint. And then the moon is kind of same vibes. So this full moon, I think, is a good one to ask yourself, what's out of balance, what needs balance, and how you want to expand your manifesting, your life, your dreams, your joys. So this, we are continuing. We'll be late before I get there. Please join our coven. It's a beautiful place. You can go to Jenny C. Bell to learn more. It's fun. It's fun. We have a resistance space where we talk about how we can be activists in our own ways with no judgment. We have a witch school for new witches. We have an apothecary circle, which if you're gardening and you're planting, it's such a great place to go to. And we have nice people. They're really kind people. And so, yeah, I want to share that. I want to share that I will be at the end of April in Portland for Spirit Northwest. Come join me there. Come meet me there. I really want to meet people. I'm going to sign books. I'm going to have a class. And then I also want to say that my book's coming out and you can pre-order it. Divergent Witchcraft. And we have been diving into it chapter by chapter. Last week we talked about chapter 1, which is on meditation. This week we're focusing on chapter 2, journaling, a legacy of light. Legacy of light was something that actually came to me in my Akashic records. And my guides were like, your purpose is to leave a legacy of light. And that's beautiful. And I think that's everybody's purpose. We think about, not to be morbid or dark, but that's my personality. Think about our funeral and you think about who's there and what they're saying and your eulogy and what they're going to talk about. And they're going to reflect on your legacy of light. How you helped them, how you changed them, how funny things you said, how you touched their hearts, how you were someone's ancestor, how you were someone's best friend, how you were someone's, first love. And it's your light. And your light is left everywhere, whether you're aware of it or not, right? A kindness you give to someone can mean way more than you think. And so we're constantly leaving a legacy of light. I know a lot of witches are in service industry. I used to be a teacher. It's very common because we're loving, caring people. And we want to help and we want to be of service and we want to leave a legacy of light. So this chapter is about leaving a legacy of light for yourself and maybe a loved one. Some of you might have people in your life who are also interested in witchcraft that are coming after you in a generation, or you might have them someday. Like just because your own kids aren't interested in what you do doesn't mean your grandkids won't be interested in what you do. And so when we talk about journaling, we journal for ourselves, we journal for our future selves, and we journal for maybe a future descendant. Think about how fun it is for people to read old texts and old journals and all of that. It's really, really fun. I also talk about not doing a book of shadows, but doing a book of light. And so the first part of the chapter is about journaling for you and why it's therapeutic and why it helps you heal and why it helps empower you and why it helps you step into your magic. And then the second part is about making a book of light, which I'm not going to get into too much detail here because I want you to read the book. But let's talk about journaling because I know a lot of people have an aversion to journaling. I was an English teacher for 13 years. I started every class with journaling. And I have no regrets. I did different things throughout the years. Sometimes it'd be a question. Sometimes it'd be a quote that they just had to write about. Sometimes it was free write. But it was first 10 minutes of class, you come in and you write. There was a lot of reasons why I did this. The first being, you just came from math or lunch, and I need you to shift gears now, and you're in a place where you're writing. Next reason, the reason I thought was like a minor reason, but became the major reason later, was because you have things to say, and a lot of times you don't give yourself the time or the space to say them. Let that sink in. You have things to say. You have thoughts to think. You have ideas to share. But you don't always have the time and the space to do that. Journaling is that time and space. I cannot tell you how many aha moments, how many things come together when I'm journaling. I'm like, oh, this is why I was grumpy with my family. Or this is why I felt anxiety at the supermarket. Or this is how these two things are related. Or this is the next chapter of the book. So many conclusions are made through writing because we don't give ourselves time and space to think. We just don't. We're busy. We're busy humans. We're plugged in, we're on social media, we're trying to be entertained, we're trying to disassociate, we're doing all the things. If you're a partner or a parent or taking care of an elderly parent, you're busy. You have a job, you're busy. You don't have a lot of time and space to think. And that's what journaling is. And I know I said that meditation is the hill I'll die on. I think journaling is also the hill I'll die on because it's important. Do you need a modification? Your hands, you have carpal tunnel. Yeah, take a modification. Voice notes. Sometimes just talking to yourself is helpful. My best friend and I, we leave each other voice notes, and sometimes my intuition, my aha, my insight comes because I'd left her a voice note, and I'm like, oh, okay, some of us don't process unless we talk or write first. We don't always process everything we're feeling or thinking, and that's okay, but we need to create the space to do it. So you can type it, you can handwrite it, which I think is best if you can do that, or you can voice note it. But you need to journal, because how else are you going to discover who you are? How else are you going to discover your needs, your wants, what you want to manifest, what shadows are rising? You just can't, because you don't have the time and space in the day. There's not a set space for thinking time. Ever since the beginning of the radio, we haven't had as much quiet in our homes, and that's fine. But, you work, you come home, you put the TV on, or you get on your phone, you talk to your family, maybe you read a book, you go to bed. Where in that time did you have time to think? This is why so many people's insights and ideas come to them when they're showering or washing dishes, because they're forced to be quiet for a moment. So journaling becomes that spot for you to determine who you are, what you're thinking, how you're feeling at this time. And so that's the second chapter, and it goes into a lot of detail. It talks about different types of journaling. There's lots of journaling questions. And then I invite you throughout the rest of the book to journal, to keep a journal while you write. And I would love for everybody to do that. That's why I end the podcast every week with journaling questions. Speaking of which, this is a shorter episode this week, but just felt like right timing. So let's talk about journaling. So that's the first question. What are your likes and dislikes of journaling? What's your favorite kind of journaling to do? Because you might like the free association, you might like a quote, you might like a dream journal. Looking at the hanged one, what needs a shift in your perception? And then looking at our full moon in Libra, where do you need balance in your life? Like the equinox, a lot of times we really try to figure that out on the equinox, but you might not have. So here's another chance for you to determine where to seek balance. And I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful week and a good April. And thanks for listening. Blessed be. As always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe and share with a friend. And be on the lookout for my books, Spirit Crystals, Discover Your Crystal Guide for Healing and Empowerment, and Divergent Witchcraft, an inclusive approach to making magic. And if you want to connect with me more, go to jennycbell.com, JennyCbell.com, to learn about our coven, to learn how to follow me on Substack, and also how to get a reading from me. Blessed be witches.